Good morning, hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Patricia. Thank you for joining me today. If this video has found you, come into your feed. We're probably having an alignment, so thanks for showing up. I appreciate you. So today's topic is going to be thoughts are power. That's a really interesting one for me because it's something that is one of my things, It's just one of my things. The idea of thoughts and thoughts creating reality and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, settle in. Let's start talking about it. So, I think this topic affects everybody. Oops. One of the things I have to get used to in this camera is where you guys are in here. I look straight, but it's on an angle, so I'm looking over always to the side. So my apologies if I look like I'm not looking at you. I am actually spectrum as well, so it's kind of funny because that's one of my things is not having always eye contact unless I'm actually listening to someone, then I make eye contact. But if I'm speaking, I usually don't. So it's just kind of weird. I noticed in my last videos I wasn't. So I noticed my camera thing is right over there. So I'm going to try and look that way more so that we can have more of a personal conversation. I'm so sorry. But anyhow, I digress as I always do. So thoughts are power. Thoughts are something. This is a topic that really affects all of us. It's I mean, we all think, we think our way through our days. We're always in our heads. So yes, we're always having thoughts. And I remember the first time I heard the coin thoughts create reality, I was like, oh my God, I'm screwed. How am I going to create this incredible world around me when I'm still dealing with all my shit, all my drama, all those kind of things, my upbringing of you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not, like we all have a brain full of stuff. So when I heard thoughts create reality, I have to admit it really intimidated me, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to break through all that and to figure it out. So let's begin by going back to 2006 when The Secret came out. So The Secret started as a documentary, and this documentary was by Rhonda Byron, I believe her name is. So she created The Secret. And what it is it is a collaboration. It interviews all kinds of people who are in the new, well, they called it then the New Age. I've never called anything the New Age because the spiritual world is in mystic and woo-woo and all of that has been around since humans first ejaculated onto the planet. So I don't call it the new ideas, new thoughts. To me, it's more of an old system that we need to get back to. So anyways, I digress once again. So where was I? So we're talking about The Secret, the documentary. And so she interviewed all these people who were leaders of the New Thought movement. The New Thought movement actually does come from the earlier 1900s, but we'll get back into that later. So the New Thought movement is, so after she had created this documentary that just kind of went wild, like wildfire, she then turned it into a book. And by creating this book, she was on all kinds of talk shows. Oprah and Ellen were two huge talk platforms that she worked off of. And when I say that now and I look back at it, and I'm like, yeah, what were they trying to do? Control the narrative? Wow, talking about those two nowadays in any spiritual circle, it just, good Lord. I have things to say about those two, but I'm not going to because we're talking about thoughts create reality, and we want to be positive, and we want to think really good things right now. So let's get back up to that. All right, why did I have to mention their names? I did. But anyways, so from their platforms, this book just rocketed. Everybody knew about it. Everyone was talking about it. Your thoughts create reality. Well, you know what? She was right, because that book, the The Secret grossed over $65 million. They made a bundle on that. And that's also Abraham Hicks. She was, they were, well, Abraham Hicks, I guess, is the being that Esther, I was gonna say translates, that she that comes through her and speaks to people. Sorry, I don't know what the word is. I'm not even gonna care. But Esther Hicks came from that as well. So about 6 months into it, you know, because it was like, I mean, a big deal. Everyone was talking about this. And about 6 months afterwards, I'm kind of like, you know, intuitively, I knew that this meant something. I knew it was real, but it felt like there was something missing. And, you know, what I realized is, even years later, there's always something missing. Any of these life hack books that you read, any of the messaging that we receive, there's always a little piece missing. And it's because life is about putting together those pieces. And this can also like open up another rabbit hole to go with this, because one of the things that the dark side, you know, we're in a battle of good and evil right now. If you haven't woken up to that, well, good Lord, get your head out of your ass. Okay, we're in a battle of good and evil right now. So one of the things that the dark side has to do is they have to reveal some of their secrets. They have to reveal what's happening, but they can do it in little bites here and there. So that's what they do. They put information into little bites here and there. Now, I'm not saying The Secret is a product of that, but two of the big Hollywood names that promoted it would be from a darker side, and they would again control that narrative. So not everything, you know, would come out in those shows. You'd have to, and even reading the book, there was, always felt like there was just a little something missing. Who controlled that? I don't know, but it turned out years later that they started talking about, yeah, there was a little bit of a something missing. And so they continue to this day to promote that work. And I do stand by that work. I do stand by that work. There are so many books out there. I'm actually wondering, I've got some footnotes here. Just going to have a look here and see. Yes, there we are. The Law of Attraction from William Walker Atkinson in 1906. He was the one who, he didn't start, because I don't think anyone starts it. I think it's well, maybe someone does, but it's usually snowballs by, you know, person here, here, here. But he was a huge part of the snowball of the thought movement, the new thought movement. I mean, you talk to somebody probably back in Atlantis and they laugh at you, go, what new thought movement? This is part of the laws. This is part of the laws of life. Your thoughts create your reality, the law of attraction. But the law of attraction was not coined during the 2000s with the movement of The Secret and all these people starting to come out of the woodwork with all these thought-provoking ideas of how you can create all kinds of things, whether it be trying to create a parking stall for yourself. You know, you're driving into a parking lot and you need that one spot, and all of a sudden someone pulls out and you get to pull in. People started creating things like that, just little things. Oh, I'm going to add another, I don't know, $100 to my bank account. You know, things like that. Or some people were, you know, thinking really huge outside of the box. But anyways, so this movement didn't start now. It didn't start in the 2000s. It actually came from this dude, what did I say his name is? William Walker Atkinson in 1906. And I don't know if it was him per se that completely wrote this book, but he had a lot of collaborators at that time. And what I write here, so the book was called Thought Vibration and the Law of Attraction in the Thought World. That was one of the titles. So the law of attraction, that quote, that expression has been around since the beginning of the 1900s. So it's not a new idea. And here's the crazy part. But before I go into it, make sure you like and subscribe. Boop, 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 boop. Thanks for being here. So I'm going to share a story, and I'm going to share with you why I actually do believe that thoughts create your reality. One of the things, okay, two things. One of the things that really helped me to move through one of my biggest trauma moments of my life, which was domestic V. When I escaped that and got out on my own with my kids, one of the things that really helped me through it, and I was talking about the book, the oh my God, I forgot the name of the book, The HeartMath Solution. My apologies, The HeartMath Solution. One of the things was it taught me more about mindfulness. Stopping your thoughts, freeze frame. When you freeze frame, you stop everything and you look at a picture and you can freeze your thoughts for a moment and get control of them and become mindful. So mindfulness is the word that I'm trying to move forward here to. Mindfulness is a huge part of my life. One of the things mindfulness has really helped me with throughout my life is instead of reacting, to respond. Okay, I'm a fire sign and I can really react. If I see shit happening and like somebody's getting hurt by, like if two people were picking on one person, I react. I'm like, hell no, not today on my watch, you don't. So when you have a lot of trauma in your life, you can react to a lot of things. So I had to really get control of that part of myself and learn how to respond and not react. And by doing so, that also works with my thoughts. So by now responding, not throwing crazy thoughts out there, I'm settling them, I'm processing them, and I'm choosing which thoughts I want to keep and which ones I want to get rid of, so that I can respond properly. And since I've been doing that, I have made so much progress in my life, a lot of progress in my life. So because our thoughts have a vibration to it, and when you just let your thoughts take over you, your vibration just goes crazy too. So that's what I'm trying to say is, so being mindful of your thoughts. And it's also helped me not to be so fearful of my thoughts. And you can cancel them. If you get a bad thought and you're like, oh, I just want to cancel. I do not want to think that negatively about that other person. I want to send them love, blessings, and forgiveness. Forgive me. I forgive them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These are the kind of things that you can do to help control your thoughts and to dispel any of the negative energy that might come through it. I need to look that way. So dispel any of the negative energy that might come through it. But let me tell you why I actually believe all this shit. It's not about the books. It's not about what I've listened to. It's not about all these years of trying to put it into practice. Here's a story. When I was 15 years old, this would have been 1980. My parents were fresh divorced. It was Christmas time, and we were going to my aunt's house to have Christmas. And she lived about a 2-hour drive away from us. And so my brother's friend, ex-girlfriend, came with us at that time as well. So there we were having family Christmas, 1980, at my auntie's house. Well, you know, I was 15. You get bored. You can only do so much at your relative's place before you get bored. And so you look into what kind of games do they have. And I went into their little game pile and I found an Ouija board. Yes, I did. I found an Ouija board. Now, please know this. Back in the 1980s, you could purchase an Ouija board at a store like Zellers, Woco, which is the equivalent of a Target or a Walmart back then. So you could go to the children's section. You could go to the children's section and you could buy an Ouija board. Yes, you could. So anyways, back to my aunts, there we were. So the two of us, my brother's ex-girlfriend and I, took the Ouija board and we went into a bedroom, closed the door, and we're like, ooh, we're gonna do this. So there we were, we got our hands on it. And I said to her, make sure you do this right. I really want to do this. No worries, we're going to do this. So there we are, we're on it. And It starts to move. And you're like, oh, it's moving, it's moving. So it starts to move. Is there anybody out there that would like to speak with us? Yes. Okay. And I said, you're not moving it, are you? She said, nope. I said, I'm not moving it either. Next question. Is there one of us you want to talk to? Yes. Who would you like to talk to? It spells out my name. Back then I used to go by Trish, not Patricia, but it spelled out Trish. And I'm like, bitch, you're moving this board, aren't you? You're doing something here. And she swore she wasn't. I'm like, and something intuitively, at that time, I did not realize that I was a intuitive, that I had, you know, the family background of psychic mediums and things like that, all right? But I intuitively knew that there's something going on here. But it was scaring me. It's an Ouija board. Oh my God, right? So back then, it's like, oh, but we still were going for it. What would you like to talk to me about? It spelled out the words thoughts. And I'm like, this is not the girl beside me. This is something else that's happening. I was really scared. But at the same time, I'm a Sagittarian and my curiosity was really, really in there. I was invested. I wanted to, what the hell do you want to talk to me about thoughts for? Back on the board. I just started spelling it out. It spelled out the word power. At that moment, I took the board and I threw it. All I could think about was there's some ghost or entity here and it's going to try to eat my brain. I'm 15 and a Ouija board's telling me it wants my thoughts for power. I was terrified. I thought, oh my God, what is going on here? And I knew it wasn't her. She seemed pretty freaked out too. So I put it away. Did I ever use an Ouija board again? You know I did. You know I did. But anyways, that's another story. So, here and now, 2026, and all these ideas of thoughts creating reality had me kind of thinking about a lot of things. Kind of goes along with the idea of why this matrix, the dark side that's running this matrix right now. Why do they want to capture our attention so much? Why is there so much propaganda on our planet? And why is there always this huge battle and war about what we think as humans? You know damn why. Because they're all trying to create and control the narrative of humanity. Because if we humans actually tapped into the power of our thoughts, the world we could create, dear Lord, the lives we could create. So people say, well, why aren't we doing it? And that always comes down to, and this has been one of my biggest battles that I've had through my life too, is your programming. You know, when I was talking about ego and how you have to love your ego, because it's not ego that's the asshole, it's all the programming that went into it. Well, it's that same programming that is keeping each and every one of us away from being the best that we can and from using this, the science of it. I'm really bad. I really suck at talking about the science of everything and blah, blah, blah. So please do your research out there. There are so many organizations that are into this, but do be careful. Do be careful, because this war between good and evil right now, that's one of the things they're fighting for, are your thoughts, dudes. Are your thoughts. So you be really careful what you're absorbing, what you're bringing in, what you're thinking about. Now, if you have really shitty thoughts, you can cancel them. Those don't have to manifest themselves. I believe there's this little grace period of throwing it out there, you know? Sometimes it can be pretty quick. It depends how much emotion is involved in it. But if you do say something that you're kind of like, oh, didn't mean to say it like that, just find your own words to cancel it out. Or maybe in your mind, kind of go, delete, you know? Find a little trick that can work for you so that you're not scared to be thinking thoughts. But half the thoughts that we're all putting out there, we don't even generate it consciously. We're not mindful. We're not being mindful of what we're projecting, of what we're putting out there. Yeah, that's where it's at. So that's why I really believe in the law of attraction and creating my own reality. Because of my experience when I was a kid. Something back then was trying to send me a very strong message. And unfortunately, I heard it way too young in my life, or when I was at a point when I just did not understand what it was talking about. You know, we always think, oh, if I could just go back to my youth with the wisdom that I have today, you know, that's so true. But then we wouldn't learn what we learn, right? So it's kind of a mixed bag. Yeah, how you doing? Having good thoughts? I try to. I do get a lot of negative thoughts. Yeah, I do. I am not here to bullshit anybody. I am far from being perfect. I have a lot of work to do. But I also believe I do have a lot to share with you. And it feels good to talk about some stuff. So thanks for listening and being here with me, and really appreciate you. So think about some really positive things. And that comes in music too. Sorry, that was one thing I was going to mention here too. Careful the music you listen to. A lot of the lyrics, a lot of that stuff's planted for us to say over and over and over again until we believe it. Careful what you believe. Careful of your thoughts. Because, oh, another thing too about thoughts. Sorry, this is really important too. This was something I had came to understand through my time of being here. Not all your thoughts are yours either. Really, really important. I remember this one time I was doing something or I was talking to somebody, and all of a sudden I had this really nasty fucking thought. And I knew in that moment that the thought did not come from me, because I would never think something like that. Never. I know my brain. I know who I am. I know my dark side. I know my bright side. I try to keep a really good balance in my life. Not that I do bad things. Well, we all do bad things even to ourselves, right? Like, sorry, goodness, it's itchy. It's this air, Alberta air, man. It's so itchy. I digress. Give me a second. See, these are all raw videos. I do not edit. I try to keep it as real as I possibly can. I just think that's really important. I could cut video and make it really snappy and good, but I just kind of like it like this between us, right? I just keep it real, send love, keep the vibe there. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So not all thoughts are yours. There's a collective that surrounds us. And you know, some of our thoughts come from that. Some of them are inspired from our muses, from our spirit. Some of them are just, oh, I don't know how it all happens. And, you know, we project something out, it projects back at us. There's all kinds of ways that we can receive our inspiration and our thoughts. And some of our thoughts are just our own generated mind brilliance, you know? So there's a lot to it. I don't think it's just a one thing. But do start practicing it. Start practicing that your thoughts create reality and the law of attraction, because it is a real thing. All right? Well, I'm going to go create a wonderful day with my dog, Mumu. Her name's actually Mushka. So Mushka and I are going to go have a lovely day in our backyard. This is something that I try to manifest every day, and we've been doing it. I'm getting there at manifesting the life that I want. Still a ways to go, but it's getting there. So I believe it. I want you guys to believe it too, because I really want us to have something to work with here on this planet. And I want you to know that being human is more than just putting a fucking hamburger in your mouth and drinking water every day and taking your vitamins. It's controlling, not controlling your thoughts. I'm not going to say controlling. No, not controlling. Observing your thoughts. Creating, generating good ones. Letting go what's negative. And when you really mean it, put love into those thoughts and be kind, because they matter. They matter. That is a trick of words, isn't it? They matter. Anyways, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here with me. I really, really appreciate it. I know I'm just a little person on the planet here amongst the sea of creators on YouTube, so I appreciate you hanging out. All right, I'll talk to you with our next video.